Welcome back to another demo. This will be talking about how to make elephants, which are a really fun piece that we like to make in our shop. Once again, this video was filmed pre-COVID, so we won't have to do the artificial voiceover, and we'll be explaining the piece as we're going. Enjoy!
Cool. So this will be another demo. This won't be an open piece demo. This is kind of more just like a specialized solid piece. Check out the cool things you can do with bits. So we're going to be doing an elephant, which are my favorite. And a lot of it is pretty much bit work towards the end. There's shaping variations right after you essentially hit the final stages of paperweight. So pretty much I'm going to go through the whole process off camera, going through shaping a paperweight, all of that fun stuff. And when I get to where I'm putting in that initial jack line, that's where this process will change. So we'll flash to that in probably 2 seconds. All right, so right now I have kind of an initial jack line. This is where typically you would just go, keep continuing to drive in that jack line and get a paperweight out of it. We're not going to do that. The next step for an elephant is just have all of our stuff in the right place. And assuming you have enough heat, you're going to go onto the marber and go like that. You're going to rotate it 90 degrees, rotate it 90 degrees until you have kind of that initial cubic kind of shape. Once you lose some heat, you're going to go back to the glory. When you're happy with that cubic shape, what you'll do is you'll go to the bench now, and you're going to start putting in your legs. The legs are on halfway between the plane of each elephant, like side. You'll see it better in a second. So we have 2 different kinds of tags. This one's a smaller one than the one I was just using. What you want to do with this one now is you want to give it a slight upward flick, and now you're rotating it 180 degrees. So upward flick, 80 degrees, upward flick, and you want to do it twice on each side before you flip to the other side of your elephant, and then you keep doing that 180. The goal of this is to kind of try to keep it as on center as possible, because this is kind of solidifying that final shape. I'm going to get a little bit more heat. I'm happy with where those legs are right now. An alternate way that you can do elephants is if you do that upward flick while you're on the marber. That's going to give you more of a tall and straight elephant. If you do the tag flip at this point, you're going to get more of a round elephant, which I like better. So once you're happy with where you've put the legs, you're going to take your straight shears and you're going to essentially create an artificial jack line by shearing the feet. We initially put that jack line in, so when we cut the legs of the elephants, we know kind of a general plane to focus on. You don't want to cut too far in, and if you see it start leaning back over, you just want to touch it up a little bit. At this point, this is when you're going to ask your assistant gaffer to start preparing bits. And so there's 3 bits involved with elephants. You're going to have the ear bit, you're going to have the nose bit, and you're going to have the tail bit. Typically, I do ears, nose, tail, since it kind of goes from largest kind of bits to smallest. So when you're making these cuts for those feet, you're going to notice how all of my cuts follow that initial jack line that I put in. And we put in that jack line just to rehash because we want to make sure that all of these fall in a similar plane, because when it breaks off, this is what it's going to sit on. If they don't fall in the same plane, you either have a shit ton of cold work to do, or your elephant's just going to be rocking and rolling all night. So the next part is we're going to be putting on those ears. This is the largest bit. And you kind of smush it on either the side where you want that head or the ugliest side of your elephant. Really, it's up to you. Then you take these crimps and you grab half of your ear mass and then you grab the other half. You try to grab equal distributions. Not super much like that. And then you touch it up as best as you can. I usually touch up with tweezers. Those crimps are a little awkward, so I kind of do that. Some people, when they do their bits, they'll put their eyes in at this point and put them in here. I prefer putting my eyes in kind of on the trunk, and so you'll see that in a second, but some people will do it at this point. I'm going to go for a quick flash. One of the big parts of elephants is making sure you're keeping that moil hot. I don't know if any of you guys experience it with jellyfish or even your open pieces, but this moil, when it starts to crack, you are on a limited clock. So I'm going to make sure I keep a lot of heat in there while I'm waiting for my next bits. All right, for the next bit, we have the nose. Have it come pretty high. I usually Squish it right on the top of the face and give it a slight drag down. Hold it, and then I start pulling out. All right, hold, right there, hold. You do a lot of your shaping right when you cut, so this pulled out pretty thin for me. I'm not super thrilled, but that's okay. I was a little hot when I went to go apply it. You do some of that shaping there. If you have a lot of glass, you're going to want to let it fall down that way, so it falls vertically down so it doesn't touch your piece. I didn't have that issue since I was still pretty cold, but if you have a lot of really hot glass, you'll want to turn it very quickly. All right, for our last bit, we have the tail. You want a really small bit, and you kind of just boop the butt of your piece, have them hold it, come on in. I usually try to thin out my tail a little bit, so I pull it up, go like that, and then I adjust it however I want. I like a slight upturn. Cool. All right, then I'm gonna go back for my last flash. I'm gonna touch up my backlight ever so slightly, because I want to make sure it breaks off there. You want to make sure that you don't touch the back legs of your piece. Those are where I usually have the most issue. Touch those back legs with your jacks, because that's what will cause some thermal cracking.